All right, so today we came into the shop. I got word that we're gonna do a restoration cleaning. So I talked to the boss. He told me everything I needed to know, what chemical I need, the address we're going to. We're gonna go pick up our chemical. We're gonna go gas up, and then we're gonna head to the job. I'm gonna fuel up my truck. I'm gonna fuel up my machine that I do all my cleaning with. Generally, I have a gas card for my truck, and I have a gas card for the machine that I use. That's how we keep track of all the fuel we use. We separate it between two cards. The machine I'm using, I use two types of gas. I use diesel, which heats up the water to 100 degrees ambient temperature. And then I use normal gas to run the engine on my machine. So we're gonna go ahead and fill up, take care of this, and then we're gonna head over to the job. Okay guys, we're on site. We figured out which section we're gonna work on, so now I gotta get suited up. Basically, I'm gonna start with my wetsuit bottoms. It'll protect the legs, the waist. Then I'm gonna go put on my boots. Notice that the boots are all rubber. We do that because we don't want any chemical to seep into your shoes, damage the toes. We want to keep those nice and clean, and you do that with rubber boots. And go ahead and put on our jacket, get all buttoned up. And then we'll finish it off with our long rubber gloves. Notice the fold in the rubber gloves. That's important. That stops the chemical from running down your arm sleeves. Now I'm ready to go to work. Okay guys, I'm gonna set up here just so everyone understands how I get set up, how we like to set up here at Arch. For Washdown, first we're gonna go ahead and run a water to our machine. Now usually we'll get our water from wherever we're working from. In this case, the homeowners. And what we're gonna do is attach to their water source. All right, so normally this is where I add chemical to my machine. The chemical clean, generally you can add the chemical, the heat, and the pressure that I run it at, which is 3,500 PSI. Normally I would add it all right here, but today we're gonna hand scrub. So that's me mixing my chemical and my water in a bucket. And then I'm gonna hand scrub because that's what this job requires. Let me show you that. Okay, for my chemical mix, it's a 1-to-4 mix. So that's 4 gallons of water, which I already have in my 5-gallon bucket, and 1 gallon of chemical. 1-to-4 mix. And then I'll add my gallon to it. Now I'm ready to get some work done. Okay, so this is how we left our machine overnight. We left it out here on the street. Luckily, the homeowners allowed us to do that. It makes it real easy. We got a lot of high work to do on this property. So we're gonna use an 80-foot man lift. Now, I'll go ahead and get the man lift warmed up and bring her down, and then we'll get to work. That's the warm-up light. Once that light goes off, we'll be good to go. All right, so before I get into the bucket itself, I'm gonna go ahead and put on my fall arrest system. That basically just protects me if anything goes wrong in the bucket, so I won't be ejected from the bucket. This ties me to the bucket itself. Go ahead and strap across your chest. And then your legs. Not too tight, but just snug enough to hold you. Now I'm strapped in and I'm ready to go. All right, so I'm gonna set up. I'm gonna start with this section right here in back of me. A lot of discoloration, a lot of dirt, a lot of green algae, and we're gonna go ahead and do our best to get this nice and clean. I'll start with a nice rinse, get all the dirt off that I can with my machine with hot water, straight pressure. And then I'm gonna go ahead and add my chemical. I'm gonna go ahead and brush it on as high as I can reach. Let it sit for about 5, 6, 7 minutes max, and then go ahead and rinse. What I want the water to do is saturate into the brick, because you don't want the chemical itself to soak into the brick. You want the chemical itself to work on the exterior of the brick itself. That's why you saturate everything with water. That keeps the chemical on the outside where it's supposed to be working. You know the brick is saturated when the water itself runs down the face of the brick and basically runs all the way to the bottom. When brick is dry, it tends to absorb the water, but when it's saturated, that water, because it has nowhere else to go, it runs straight down the face of the brick. So once we see that, we know we're ready to apply our chemical. Again, we're gonna brush in the sections in front of us. Once we brush them in really nice and we see that our cleaner's working, then we're gonna go ahead, let it sit for about 5 minutes, move to another section, we'll do the same. And then we'll come back to the section right here and we'll rinse it down real nice. That should give us the look we're looking for. Okay, so we had a good day today. Everything turned out like we thought it should. The building's 100% cleaner than we found it. We got about 1,600 square feet cleaned. So tomorrow we'll come back and we'll try to at least hit that number and make it better. So we'll go ahead and clean up, get out of here, and we'll do it again tomorrow.